In this video, I want to talk about one of the most powerful new tools in WordPress. This started around WordPress 3.0, really came into its own at that point, and I'm talking about custom post types. You're hearing a lot about this these days. There's not a lot we can do in a short course like this because it's almost a whole topic in and of itself, but it really is revolutionizing WordPress. I think I've talked in other videos about how shopping carts, catalogs primarily, have become much easier to do in WordPress because of custom post types, as well as custom taxonomies. Well, how do we do these? Well, first of all, let's clear up one thing right away. These are not post types. All right, that's the name, custom post types, but really it's custom content types. Content types in WordPress are things like pages, links, posts, and now whatever you want to create. So, for example, let's say I've got a website about books, okay? So I like to blog about books perhaps, but I want to keep my post type just for blogging. I've got my categories all set up, it's kind of nice, but now I also want to have a catalog of all my books. Well, I could certainly do it using posts and post categories. Certainly quite doable, and I've done websites like that before when we didn't have custom post types. Now, however, there's much more flexibility if I make books, in this case, a custom post type, a new content type called books. And you'll see why as we go along. Now let's say on our test site here, our web designer test site, clients could be a post type. I want to keep my posts for blogging, but I want to then show each of my clients and the work I've done for them. And they're kind of like a special group that I want, and I've got certain things I want to do with them, including special custom fields and so on. That's another important point. Custom post types very often are going together with some special custom fields that, again, you don't want to be available to every other post type, such as posts. Okay, so let's make clients a new post type. How do we do that? Well, we could go into our functions.php file or even create a separate file for it and hook it into functions.php, or we could even create our own plugin by hand. In fact, it's probably better to do a plugin in this case because we don't want it tied to the theme. Books are going to be on my website forever. Clients are going to be on my website forever. Those two content types shouldn't be done as part of the theme. So we could do coding like we saw here. And you'd have this in your plugin or your functions.php. Instead of registering taxonomy, though, you're of course registering a custom post type. However, custom post types are more complicated than custom taxonomies. And very often you're having to do a lot of work with them, especially when they begin to interact. So I think plugins that exist already that do that construction for you in the background, I think they're the way to go, especially for the vast majority of us who are not heavy-duty programmers. Now keep in mind, all of these plugins are quite new. Some of them are even still in beta because this is all pretty new in WordPress. So we're sort of breaking a lot of new ground here. But still, there are some really good plugins out there, and they're just going to get better. Some of the free ones include Custom Post Type UI, and I'm going to be looking at that one in detail. CMS Press, More Types. This More Types, by the way, is actually a series of plugins called More Fields, More Taxonomies, and More Types. Then there are some paid ones out there, Easy Custom Content Types, Custom Press. Again, lots and lots of options even at this early stage. Let's go and take a look at Custom Post Type UI. If I scroll down here, I've installed custom post types. Here it is. Now this is a good example of all these plugins. This one's written by Brad Williams, and he's one of the people that writes a lot of plugins, and as you can see, has worked on a lot of books about WordPress. So he's one of those people, when I talk about which plugins to choose, I think people who are really good coders, those are the ones to go with. Plus, I've worked with this one. I think it's really good. All right, let's add our new custom post type. So let's enter the post type name. Again, this one needs to be unique and lowercase. Clients. Okay. Now our label, we want it to be uppercase because this is going to show on our menu. Clients, we need the singular version of it as well. And we can give a bit of a description of it if we wanted to let people know what it's for. Now, we're actually done. And this is the advantage of having one of these interfaces, that it keeps it really, really simple. There are advanced label options here. Menu name, remember I talked about how before with the custom taxonomy, we had a strange look. It said add new category. Well, we can actually tell it what to add. In addition to label options, there are other advanced options. Is it public? Well, a lot of these are going to be by default the way you want them. Show the user interface, of course we want that. Do we want it to be public? Yes, of course. See what I mean? Most of this is good. Hierarchical, well, now actually that might be something we want different, hierarchical, but we actually have a taxonomy that's hierarchical, so we don't need that. All kinds of things we could do here. We could tell it we don't want to support custom fields, although 9 times out of 10 you would, but you have the options here anyway. And we are done. And if you look over here, look at that. It's already created one on the side for us. Clients, add client. So let me go in and see what my interface looks like. Look at that, all ready to go for us. Featured image built in. Let's take a look here. Custom fields is there, yes indeed. Now notice that we can also manage custom taxonomies in here as well. Decide what post type to attach them to. We could attach them to posts, pages, and clients. It doesn't matter. We can do anything we want in here. And again, advanced options as well as advanced labeling options. But again, for most people's uses, they don't need to worry about any of those. The big one here under advanced options would be hierarchical. And very often you're going to want that to be hierarchical. But by default, it's not. So there you go. A very easy to use method of creating your custom post types and your custom taxonomies. Then of course you need to create special pages for showing them, for displaying them. And of course we've looked at those in the template hierarchy, where you would use a special taxonomy template in order to bring these to life on your website.